welcome to the new year. Happy 2025 to you. We have crossed into the new year. Kind of stepping up off of what I talked about previously about your resolutions, how to be successful. If you haven't, definitely check out the previous episode. This is specifically on how to find the best coach, trainer to help you out. What are things you want to look for in a personal trainer that is like the things to look for? And yes, of course, quick biased here is, yes, I do run a business that is specifically in coaching and fitness and personal training and all. But this is not me advertising mine. This is me helping you find a good coach and trainer. I'm not under the impression, I would definitely say I'm not under the impression that I think everyone's going to go with me. Obviously, I wouldn't even be able, business-wise, wouldn't be able to handle everyone. I also know multiple really exceptional in-person trainers and some online trainers that are exceptional that aren't necessarily working for me either. And that may sound crazy, but having a trainer who has a scarcity mindset is just obviously either a sign of they're super new or a sign of not so great trainer. So I don't really try to practice this scarcity mindset. So I want to kind of talk about some things that you can look for to really know whether or not you're getting set up with a good trainer. And I remember hearing a statistic that in-person trainers, that is, especially at big gyms, box gyms, you have a little bit better chance of being able to scope them out more. But a lot of clientele, before they even start, will take up to 3 months of researching and finding a good trainer by, like, especially if you're in a gym, you can just watch the trainers in your gym, you kind of watch them with the clients. Maybe you want to go talk to that trainer and hear what they're going to say about something before you ever actually sign up with them. I remember being a supervisor in a gym and also having this happen to myself, noticing that individuals would watch and observe. And that's totally fine. That is part of it, like trying to make sure you find a good trainer. Online is kind of very similar. You can look up maybe their social media platforms, because almost every online trainer is going to have a social media platform. Looking up theirs, getting some insight into who they are. Maybe they have some things from their clients, looking at their clientele, like progress or testimonials. Maybe they have a website you can look at. Things like that will help you in like researching at least. Of course, you can plug in people's names, but that's not as great plugging that into Google. You may not actually find all the trainers necessarily that like the best trainers. It depends on the algorithm. It also depends on what that trainer is putting in for their advertisement and everything. And some trainers that are advertising a lot may not necessarily be the best option. So it also has to be the right fit for you. I tell people that personalities make it too. So you have to have the right fit with that. And honestly, if you find a good trainer, they can adapt their personality to work with a whole wide array of clientele. Some trainers, newer trainers, or just less experienced trainers are not going to be that great with adapting that personality. So that's where the personality aspect would matter. Someone who's got a lot of experience, honestly, just go off of that, like their experience and their everything. So let's get into some things. Now you know how to research and find them. Some things you want to look for in a good trainer. So I would say one thing that is like a standout, if you're just, let's look at the observation standpoint, you didn't talk to them yet, you haven't checked out maybe their philosophy, maybe they got it on their social media or their website, you've just seen some videos of exercises they encourage, or maybe some of the footage of them training clients, or maybe in a gym you're seeing them train their client. Well, one thing I would say that is a good standout for a potential good trainer is exercise selection. What am I specifying here? If you see a trainer giving the client something that may, in most people's eyes, be boring or basics, it's not this flashy stuff, that's probably a experienced trainer, potentially someone who also understands the basics and the quote-unquote boring things get the most progress. So what are some things you want to see a trainer do? If a trainer, irregardless of the specifics of that client, have them perform some iteration at some point, a squat variation, so that, or a basic exercise, have a video breaking down that, or like doing, you could think of some deadlift variation, or doing a leg curl, or doing a overhead press, or doing a row, or a pull down, or a pull up, things like that, press exercises, things that are kind of look basic but really hit all the major target points, the different ranges of motion, versus what I would say not the greatest ideal is if you see a trainer having someone perform a weighted squat on a Bosu ball, or a half Bosu ball, whatever. If you see that, it's for not great things. Having their client do exercises where they're put in these weird positions of, like, say, they're hanging upside down from their feet doing, and they got a bar or dumbbells in their hands, and they're like, look like they're doing a dumbbell overhead press, but they're hanging upside down, so it's like a dumbbell pull up, in a sense, or pull up, while hanging upside down, a bunch of crazy jumping around stuff, and you never see them do basics, is what I'm saying. If you never see them do basic exercise, or if you never see them do mobility exercises where it looks like they're stretching, and you don't ever see them do what people would just call basic exercises, probably a good indicator of, or red flag indicator of a problem. Versus the opposite, if you see them doing basic exercises, mobility exercises, stretching exercises, basic strength training exercises, you probably got a winner. Another one from observation standpoint is when a trainer is attentive to their client. So if they're in person, again, this is a little bit easier. Online, it's kind of hard to see that, but in person, it's easy to see attentiveness. I'll give a quick preface, because there are a lot of trainers who do, especially in like private gyms or in some box gyms, where they'll use like apps to like keep track of their workouts for their client, or they'll bring an iPad or something. So that's understandable, but the point I'm going to say here is if you see their face all like just in their phone and they don't ever really look up, that's a problem. It's totally fine if they're looking down, looking at the exercise they're about to do, or they're notating in their iPad or their phone, that kind of thing, but then they're still paying attention to their client. So what you want to see is the trainer cueing their client, irregardless of how long that client's worked with them, there's going to be some form of cueing or some form of explanation to how to perform the exercise. Or maybe they're going like, okay, you have 5 more. Or they're counting the reps, and you see them go, oh, keep that elbow this way, or slow that down, or like different small things can still be used even if they're with an experienced client. So you want to see them looking like they're paying attention to their client's form, they're paying attention to their client's like amount of fatigue or intensity of the exercise. They're notating things. Their observations is up there. They're communicating with their client. They're carrying on a conversation with their client about potential fitness things. So those are some really good observation items. Another one is to like really see as a piece, like getting into a trainer's philosophy. Finding a good trainer is going to be where a trainer understands that each client is different. There may be some carryover and overlap. Like I said, some of the exercise choices are going to be very similar, but they understand each client. There's going to be a different kind of programming for them. It's going to be individualized. It's not cookie cutter for every single individual client, especially someone who's coming in for weight loss, who is like healthy to a person who has a bum knee, or someone who has balance issues, or someone who is got a bum shoulder or whatever. They're going to have some differences between them. Something to note, not only having a trainer understand the differences between the clientele or the programming, but also something that is going to be in their philosophy, that strength training is their primary basis of programming. Irregardless of goals, they're going to do some form of strength training as their primary goal, target. Unless the person obviously is coming in specifically for endurance running or something like an endurance sport, their primary focus in their philosophy is strength training. That's a good indicator that you're in the right direction, because as noted in previous videos before, strength training is going to make more bang for your buck for pretty much every single individual. Something else is they don't speak in absolutes. It's not always, it's not like they're going to say tons of absolutes, like I said. A quote I'll use, I'm going to butcher this, but I remember a doctor said this about when someone starts out, they're speaking like they know everything, right? They act like they know it all. And they seem like they know it all, right? Versus someone, as they become more and more of an expert, they start saying words like, it depends, probably, maybe, possibly. Those are good indicators of someone who understands that there's a lot of potential nuance and variations for each individual. So those are some things to kind of look for if you're looking for a personal trainer. Of course, you can look at their credentials, what certifications they may have. That I will openly say, I have met people who have credentials that are not as good as the individual who just has their personal trainer certification or just has their degree, but yet has they love to learn, they're researching, they're learning and growing, and they're adapting, and they're using experience to teach them. Trainers who are going to make it good are going to have clientele that they learn from each individual. And they're willing to admit when they don't know, and they're willing to find out the information for you. There are going to be good trainers that are new. There are going to be good trainers that are, of course, experienced. And vice versa, there's, of course, bad apples everywhere. What you want to pay attention to is, again, looking at their philosophy. If they have something that is an extra perk bonus here, so some bonus information, is if you're looking for someone a little bit more experienced, a few things that will be some bonus things here is someone who has a specific knowledge base in what you specifically are needing. So if you're like, okay, I just recently got out of physical therapy and I just finished doing something with a knee replacement, hip replacement, or something like that, or a previous car accident and I went through physical therapy or something like that, you're coming after post-rehab, someone who has that experience of working with people who are from rehab, or someone who, like, if you're like pregnant or you just got done having your kids, you're postnatal, you want someone who specializes in that, then you want to look for that. Or if you have a specific need, like someone who does understand nutrition, so that you have some help on that side if you need a little bit more guidance than just someone just giving you basic information. And then, of course, you have sports-specific things. Like if you're someone who is looking to prepare for Olympic lifting, or someone who's preparing you for a track meets, who can train track athletes, then you want to look for those specifics. Something else you want to look at is if you're in a gym, you want to see someone who is definitely training clientele, for sure, that you kind of can relate with if you see them doing that. If not, if you're in like let's say a private gym, or you go to one of those gyms that just like specializes in personal training and they allow members, something you want to see is a trainer that has been there for several years, or has more clientele potentially, or maybe they've owned their business for a little bit longer. Maybe they're just getting to that gym, but they own their business a little bit longer. Those are some good telling signs of like, okay, if they can make it running their own business for a few years, or they can make it being in a specialty gym and not a box gym, that's a good proof that they're at least worth something, because they've been able to maintain it. And then online, I would just say you kind of have to base it off of like the other items that I said specifically. Before you continue this episode, let's talk about an amazing opportunity for you. It's our 12-week Fitness Rehab Accelerator. This is going to give you, for 3 months, an awesome opportunity to work with a trainer and a coach who's going to help you with your nutrition and your fitness goals. Help you create amazing, healthy, good habits to help improve your sleep, your diet, your exercise, and even help you start managing your stress even better. Why not take this opportunity and run with it? Don't miss out. Click the link in the description and get your journey started. So I hope this is helpful. I really do hope it's helpful to help you finding a good trainer. Be sure, like I say, like, subscribe, and share with someone else. Really will really help out with the algorithm. All right, let's get going through this new year, and let's make those goals, those resolutions, and stick with it.